Yo, what's good? So, I just caught SportsCenter on ESPN, and the entire panel was absolutely losing their minds about multiple massive and interconnected stories involving the Golden State Warriors that have fans simultaneously panicking about the team's dramatic decline, while also intrigued by potential blockbuster roster moves that could salvage this rapidly deteriorating season. There's updated seismic reporting emerging that the Warriors could realistically pursue Sacramento Kings all-star center Domantas Sabonis in what would be a franchise-altering trade acquisition that completely addresses Golden State's glaring front-court deficiencies and rebounding struggle. But before diving deep into that explosive Domantas Sabonis trade speculation, the SportsCenter crew absolutely had to address the elephant in the room. Is the Warriors' season genuinely over just 12 games into the campaign? The panel wants everyone to take a slow, deliberate breath here, because they know it feels like the sky is absolutely falling in the Bay Area right now. Last season, the Warriors started an impressive 12-3, before going basically 22-22 the rest of the way, then trading for Jimmy Butler, and ending the season strong enough to make the playoffs. This current season, Golden State started promisingly at 4-1, but now they are an absolutely disastrous 2-5 since that hot start, according to the SportsCenter breakdown. They're currently 6-6 overall, sitting in third place in the brutally competitive Pacific Division, and the vibes around this team are genuinely terrible right now. Hey, what's up, everyone? Before we jump into this massive Knicks news, I just want to ask you for a quick favor that would mean the world to me. If you could just take 1 second right now and hit that like button, it would be incredibly important to me and helps this channel grow so much. I know it seems like a small thing, but those likes genuinely make a huge difference in getting this content out to more Knicks fans who need to stay updated on everything happening with this team. So seriously, just tap that like button real quick. It literally takes 1 second, and it helps me out more than you know. The analysts are going to comprehensively break down the key statistical categories that explain exactly why this team is not performing well at an acceptable level. Of course, Stephen Curry has been sick, and out of the lineup with that mysterious illness, Jonathan Kuminga's performance has been genuinely concerning, with troubling advanced metrics. Brandon Podziemski has struggled with consistency. Draymond Green's leadership has been questionable, and Jimmy Butler hasn't provided the secondary scoring punch they desperately need. Is this team genuinely performing anywhere close to championship standards? The SportsCenter crew is going to provide a complete breakdown of key statistics for both individual players and team-wide metrics to really help everyone understand what is legitimately working and what is absolutely not working for this Warriors squad. The panel wants to start their analysis with the post-game press conference after the blowout loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, because Draymond Green had some genuinely interesting and frankly concerning comments that are going to serve as the foundational basis for the rest of this conversation. Draymond was asked about whether the team has personal agendas getting in the way of winning basketball, and his response was absolutely brutal and revealing according to the SportsCenter analysts. Draymond said directly, "I think everyone has a personal agenda in this league, but you have to make the personal agenda work within the team confine. And if it doesn't work, then you kind of got to get rid of your agenda, or eventually the agenda is the cause of someone getting rid of you." That's absolutely brutal honesty from the veteran leader. The crew emphasized this is a team that clearly has conflicting personal agendas, and they're genuinely not committed to winning like they were last season. Last year, after Golden State traded for Jimmy Butler in February, it was all in mode, basically operating as a playoff sprint for 2 critical months to secure postseason positioning, and they successfully did it. This current year, you had the team starting relatively well, with everyone seemingly gelling together nicely. Jonathan Kuminga's contract situation was in the past, and resolved, everything looked promising. Well, now opposing teams have accumulated game tape and film on the Warriors after a couple weeks of games, and they're exploiting Golden State's weaknesses. Plus, the Warriors are playing some genuinely very tough opponents in this brutal Western Conference gauntlet. But wait, The Sports Center panel wants to pump the brakes for a second here. Did they just say the Warriors are losing to tough elite opponents? Because when you actually examine the schedule and results, Golden State started the season with some legitimately big impressive wins against quality competition. But then you lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, who were missing Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is inexcusable. You lost to the Indiana Pacers, who were without Miles Turner, who's now with Milwaukee, and also without Tyrese Haliburton, who was injured, so you lost to a severely undermanned team. There was a nice bounce-back victory against the Phoenix Suns, which provided temporary relief. Then you lost to your in-state rival Sacramento Kings in disappointing fashion. You lost to the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Cup, and it genuinely wasn't even a close competitive game. You beat the Pacers, as you absolutely should have. Then you suffered a blowout, embarrassing loss to the defending champion Thunder, who clearly don't have any personal agendas. They're all genuinely bought in for the team's success. Looking ahead at the upcoming brutal schedule, Golden State plays back-to-back games against Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs, which means Al Horford probably won't play in one of those games. Steph Curry is coming off his sickness and dealing with various other minor nagging injuries, so it's genuinely not getting any easier for this struggling team. When you examine the actual remaining schedule comprehensively, the Warriors have 2 games against San Antonio, so they're staying down in Texas. Then they face the New Orleans Pelicans, who are one of the absolute worst teams in the league, then Orlando. Then they finish with Miami before finally coming home. It's just an absolutely brutal, murderous schedule in this league. So what is this Warriors team doing well? And what are they absolutely not doing well? The biggest glaring issue, according to the Sports Center breakdown, is turnover, which has been discussed extensively on analysis shows for quite a while now. For the Warriors organization historically, if they commit 15 or more turnovers in a game, they almost always lose. That's been the statistical trend for years. Right now, Golden State is averaging 15.8 turnovers per game. Let's round it up to 16 turnovers a game for simplicity. That is absolutely not good enough at all for a team with championship aspiration. Too many careless passes and lazy handling of the basketball. There's a particularly damning statistic from respected NBA reporter Dalton Johnson's analysis that the panel needs to share because it's really critically important. In the month of November so far, Jonathan Kuminga has committed 17 turnovers while only recording 16 assists, meaning he has more turnovers than assists, which is absolutely terrible for any player, let alone someone getting significant minutes. Draymond Green in one fewer game has also committed 17 turnovers but has 20 assists, so Green is +3 in that assist-to-turnover ratio, but honestly not by that much, which is still concerning. Kuminga has had 3 separate games this season with 5 or more turnovers, while Draymond has had 5 straight consecutive games with at least 3 turnovers. You simply cannot win basketball games consistently when you're carelessly giving the ball away at this alarming rate. Now, regarding Jonathan Kuminga specifically, everyone knows he's playing on his new contract extension. When you examine his contract details, he's making $23 million this current year and $25 million next season. But crucially, he can absolutely get traded mid-season if the organization decides to move on. Golden State could try to recoup some financial assets and salary relief for that contract. So the question becomes, is that something the Warriors genuinely want to explore doing? Is Kuminga trying to prove too aggressively that he can be the guy and artificially inflating his trade value? Is head coach Steve Kerr intentionally playing Kuminga more minutes or giving him expanded offensive responsibilities because they want to showcase him and increase his trade value before the February deadline? These are legitimate questions. The Sports Center crew doesn't have definitive answers to, but they're plausible theories worth exploring. You also have Brandon Podziemski, whose team option was picked up, so he will definitely be with the Warriors moving forward. Podziemski has publicly stated he wants to become like Stephen Curry, if not better, eventually. And obviously, he understands Curry is one of the all-time greats. The panel likes that confidence and self-belief, but is Podziemski doing too much and forcing things, trying to live up to those lofty, self-imposed expectations? When you look at this team collectively together, they're only 6th in the Western Conference standings at 6-6. If you win 3 consecutive games, you're potentially out of the play-in tournament range entirely, but if you lose 3 straight, you're bombing directly into dangerous play-in territory. The New Orleans Pelicans are essentially done for the season already, with their injury catastrophe. The Dallas Mavericks just fired their general manager Nico Harrison, so they're probably spiraling out of playoff contention. The Sacramento Kings look like they're genuinely about to initiate a complete organizational rebuild. The Clippers are surprisingly competitive, honestly, which nobody predicted. And the Memphis Grizzlies have all that Ja Morant drama. So who knows what their season trajectory looks like? It genuinely feels like there are only 12 legitimate teams realistically competing for 10 available playoff spots in the Western Conference. So it's not completely the end of the world for Golden State. They can let the team continue working through what they're working through internally, and they'll probably be okay and sneak into the playoffs. But you absolutely cannot afford to lose winnable games against teams you should beat. Those losses against the Bucks without Giannis and against the undermanned Pacers, those games genuinely add up significantly in the Western Conference, where playoff positioning came down to the final game and tiebreakers last season. You cannot lose those types of games because they absolutely matter in final playoff seeding. But now let's transition to the Domantas Sabonis blockbuster trade speculation, because this could genuinely provide the solution to Golden State's frontcourt deficiencies. The motivations behind the Domantas Sabonis trade rumors are directly connected to Sacramento's genuinely disappointing start to the 2025-26 season and the franchise's organizational need to completely restructure their roster, according to the SportsCenter analysis. Although Domantas Sabonis is unquestionably an outstanding all-star caliber player, his long-term presence in Sacramento may not represent the best strategic move for the Kings' organizational future. Looking at the Sacramento Kings context, they began the 2025-26 season extremely slowly and lethargically, which has generated substantial rumors that the franchise may be seriously thinking about trading their veteran players to create much-needed salary flexibility and acquire additional valuable draft picks for the future. With the team's poor performance, and after the shocking dismissal of general manager Monte McNair in early 2025, the Kings may genuinely be considering a complete top-to-bottom organizational reconstruction. The potential trade of Domantas Sabonis would absolutely be one of the most significant and impactful moves in that comprehensive rebuilding process. There's substantial uncertainty surrounding Domantas Sabonis's future in Sacramento. With former co-star De'Aaron Fox already having been traded away, Sabonis has publicly expressed his desire to remain with the Kings organization, but he's also pragmatically acknowledged that the team's future direction remains genuinely uncertain. The franchise's ultimate strategic direction will significantly influence whether Domantas Sabonis decides to formally request a trade or remain patient with the rebuilding process. Examining the specific aspects of a potential Domantas Sabonis trade, despite being an absolutely elite rebounder and remarkably competent facilitating big man, Sabonis does possess legitimate defensive limitations and outside shooting deficiencies that genuinely make constructing a consistently effective defense around him quite challenging for any coaching staff. Domantas Sabonis's contract, which extends for 2 additional seasons beyond the current campaign, could represent a significant obstacle for potentially interested acquiring teams, making him a somewhat difficult asset to negotiate in trade discussion. If the Sacramento Kings ultimately decide to trade Domantas Sabonis, the return package may not be as substantial or impressive as Kings fans would ideally hope to receive. The franchise may realistically need to accept trade packages that include promising young developmental players, non-lottery first-round draft picks from the 15-30 range, and expiring contracts specifically to create immediate salary cap relief and financial flexibility. For the Golden State Warriors specifically, acquiring Domantas Sabonis would provide absolutely elite rebounding that they desperately need. Remember, the Warriors are currently averaging only 9 offensive rebounds per game and ranking near the bottom of the league in total rebounding at just 42 per game. Domantas Sabonis would immediately solve that glaring deficiency. Sabonis would also provide exceptional high-post playmaking and facilitating from the center position that would beautifully complement Stephen Curry's off-ball movement. Domantas Sabonis' proven all-star production and durability would give Golden State a legitimate third star alongside Curry and, potentially, Butler. The SportsCenter crew genuinely thinks Domantas Sabonis playing alongside this Warriors core would create fascinating offensive versatility and address their most critical weakness. Sabonis' rebounding would be transformational for this team. So that was the comprehensive SportsCenter breakdown of the Warriors' alarming 2-5 skid, Draymond's concerning agenda comment, plus the explosive Domantas Sabonis trade speculation that could save Golden State's season.